And we are live with session 10 of our Drowned Gods game. We have been on a little bit of a break, but we are back. The season 2 is now resuming. The cliffhanger will be resolved after these flashbacks. So, PPOP, let's do a flashback. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so actually the way that this opens is we cut to a wide-angle shot of this chasm that you're looking down into with the red mist hundreds of feet below you, all of the glittering gems coating the walls of the entire thing, this enormous waterfall of, well, it's not a waterfall, lava fall, plummeting down into those depths. And the camera slowly pans around from looking at the lava fall, which is on the side opposite of where you guys were, to the tube where you are situated. And we can see in the tube PPOP and Sammy and Akalupu, whose name I did not just forget for a second, looking concerned and slightly downward, and then the camera zooms out just a little bit more, and there, suspended in midair, is Manawanui. Manawanui, I would assume you would have brought your raven with you. Did you, just have him follow you, or are you, clutching him under one arm?
No, I think he's gonna follow me.
All right, so we can see Reginald diving down after him, and the camera slowly zooms in on Manawanui's face, and we hear Manawanui's voice going, "Yep, that's me. I'm sure you're wondering how I got into this situation."
Oh, that's funny.
All right, and
I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking the exact same thing.
All right, and with that being the case, how did you get into this situation, Manawanui?
Well, you see, came to the precipice of this.
Well, we gotta start a little before that. This is our game recap, so it's gotta start with the storm.
It all started back at the festival of adulthood.
You know, the adult festival. I mean, the festival where you became adults.
I was don't think too much about it. It's all fine. It's all kosher, I swear. We're all adults here. So we were all celebrating when all of a sudden a massive storm blew in, forcing us all to hide in caves.
Well,
actually one big cave, a cave. And at that point, I was driven by sheer willpower and curiosity to explore these caves.
And PPOP, because I'm pretty sure it was his idea.
So, well, no, because I went and I got PPOP, and then we went and we got Sammy and Akalupu.
Okay.
And we ventured forth. What did we find? We found something. We found a skeleton.
Yeah, so that was the second day. The first day you mostly just traveled deep down into the cave.
That's right. Oh, that was 2 days?
Yeah, you spent
Yeah, we walked like Lord of the Rings style.
Yeah, you spent almost
your awkward
best.
Oh shoot, that's right.
But yeah, you guys were down there for, as best as you can reckon, about 2 to 3 days, because you know that you walked for what you think was a day, slept, and then walked for what you think was another day, and then pushed further through the exhaustion. So
that's
2.5 to 3 days.
Reckless.
Exactly. And this is where it's gotten you.
Filled with a drive and need
exactly.
to know.
So, you guys walked for a day and then settled in for dinner, and you got to show off some of your new tricks.
Did I?
You did.
Oh, tricks! I could cook food. Okay. No, I remember now.
And Akalupu brought food. Meat.
He did. He did bring the meat.
Unspecified meat. You don't want to necessarily ask.
Don't worry about where it came from. Might be, some of the weaker people who didn't do too well during the festival may or may not have disappeared. But we don't talk about that.
Blood god.
No blood for
We
the blood
don't
gem.
talk about.
Yeah.
There we go. We went to sleep that night, and I was awoken by a suspicious proposition. Very, very suspicious. So, we put a pin in that.
I mean, you were the suspicious one. Just say it.
No, the proposition was this. I'm not.
Well, you
I'm not
thought
crazy.
you thought it was suspicious.
No. See, thought means it's not objective reality. It was objectively. There was something going on.
So you say.
Just 'cause, and then to prove my point, the next day, the Chi-Chi spent his day nestled against my jugular. So,
I mean, that's an interpretation of what happened.
Then we found a stone with writing on it.
Yeah, in the night, Peepiopi had a dream.
Oh, that's right. He had a
And his
the
spirit
room and
animal,
the stone.
his spirit animal said something. Does anyone remember what that was? The spirit animal.
To go up,
The key.
You must first go
Exactly. Yes.
down. Oh.
Seek the key.
Sorry, my
And-
notes were hiding.
Yes. So that dream is what led you to find the tablet.
That's right. And then I don't think we actually got too much from the tablet. It just glowed a little bit.
Yeah, it's got glowing symbols on it. We don't know.
Well, one thing you
Yeah.
did figure out about it was that this vast magic source that you had been detecting
It was related.
had actually
to the
moved.
key.
So it's not stationary in relation to the island. And it felt related to the magic of the key.
That's right. So we took the key, and we decided just to keep on going. We're like, we're not going to stop. And that's when we come to the precipice of the volcano. Well, who knows? The precipice, the strange, cloudy, misty precipice
Yes.
that has a faint red glow.
Yeah, and it's definitely not like the volcano itself, because the volcano is currently active, so lava would be like coming up. It wouldn't make sense for this to be a giant pit. So the volcano, the actual crater that you hiked to, must be somewhere further on, probably in the direction of where that lava fall is. So you're somewhere closer to the village. If you had to guesstimate, probably you are somewhere around the original crater, because if you remember, the way the volcano is set up is the volcano has actually shifted over time. Not that you know that, because these happen so slowly that it's always been this way from your perspective. But the volcano has shifted over time, so there's the lower crater where the volcano used to be, and then it has shifted to its new position, so this could theoretically be where the volcano once was.
Yeah, could be theoretically, could be a pit of death and destruction.
Yeah, it could be a pit of
portal
snakes.
to another world. Could be a pit of
Why
snakes. That
is it
also-
always snakes?
Yeah, and that brings you pretty much to here. You guys did dither about on the precipice for some time, trying to decide what to do, and seeing if you could think of ways to steal any of the glittering gems on the walls. And you threw some meat down in the pit to see if it would cook in the air. You threw a rock down to see if it would make a noise, and it didn't.
Nothing useful was learned from our testing.
I mean, to a certain extent, you know that it's deep enough, or whatever is down there blocks sound enough that the rock hitting a theoretical bottom didn't reverberate back up to you. That's information.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't hear
Did I-
sizzling meat of the meat necessarily hitting lava, but it is like hundreds of feet. Would you hear that?
Aqualuga would definitely smell it.
True. He does have a nose like a shark. They can smell one drop of blood in like an Olympic swimming pool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, a giant cavern of death.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Exactly. And you did talk to Sammy about it, and she did say that this does match up with like descriptions of entrances to the spirit world, and it makes sense from the various stories that you've heard about entrances to the spirit world. So after sitting on the edge for some time, a dialogue box popped up, and it had two choices. And the choice on the left said, "Oh hell no, I ain't doing that." And the other one just had four letters: YOLO. And you can see Manawanui's mouse just flicking back and forth, undecided between the two options, not sure which one to go with. And then, with just the slightest bit of delay, going over, and this loud reverberating mouse click sounds out as you see the second option, YOLO, is selected.
Cue Kill Bill siren.
And yeah, Mono Inui, is there anything you want to retcon about your moments before jumping in? Any like modifications? They can't be huge. Obviously, you can't go back on your choice.
No, not that I would want to. Heck no. I'm going to. Did I take the key? I feel like I should take the key.
You discussed taking the key. I don't know for sure if PPOP has actually given it to you.
I think I should take the key. What if it's the key to the portal?
What if?
Too bad we'll never know.
I guess you're right. Better safe than sorry. Although if we lose the key,
Yeah.
that could screw us over. It's a big decision.
But it's got a high reward payoff if
Alright, I'm gonna hold it over the lava pit and see if it reacts in some way.
It does not.
I'm keeping this shit, man.
Yeah, I feel like we went through this before.
Did we?
I feel like we went through this before, and it wasn't like didn't seem like there was anything drawing us toward having the key.
Right, the
going.
magic isn't related to the island. We established this.
And it's like moving.
Oh, that's right. Is that now the other source isn't what I feel down there, right?
No, so the magic, you definitely do feel magic coming from the pit, but it is not the same magic that you were feeling when you were first descending.
Not the one associated with the key.
Correct.
Okay.
The only magic you're getting from me is my thoughts and prayers. Not this stone tablet.
Wow. Alright, so I guess I'm going to go up to Akaluku, pat him on the back, say, it's been a pleasure. Let's see. I don't know, I'm trying to think. Oh! I couldn't like establish like a psychic link with my bird, could I?
I don't know. Is that a thing you can do? I'm pretty sure even if you can. I know you could in Pathfinder 1 as a wizard, you could make a link with your familiar, but it had a limit to its range.
Oh.
So I'm not sure about sorcerers in 2.0 though.
Let me see. Familiar. Gain a familiar. Familiars have a mystically bonded to you via magic. Teeny animal. Familiar scribe. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about it.
Alright. Then I know for the witch, she even had to like take a specific feat in order to speak with Chi-Chi, so I'm going to guess that no.
Okay, so you know what? That's fine. You don't want to do that anyway. That's for people who are
Unsure of their decisions.
unsure of their decision. I'm sure of my decision. All right. I'm gonna go up to Sammy, give her a big kiss, and then I'm gonna say, yeet, jump. No, I'm not gonna see. I'm just gonna say, just gonna run and jump off.
Alright.
You fool!
So what kind of kiss are we talking here? I figure we should establish that first.
Like the kisses you see in movies, where the hero's about maybe to die, so he gives the damsel.
So it's a closed mouth Disney kiss.
I suppose. You know the ones I'm talking about, though, right? Like
the Han Solo kiss me for luck thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Sweeps her off her feet. Big kiss.
Exactly.
Leaves her with her knees as weak as jelly as he steps off the cliff.
Couldn't have explained it better myself.
There you go. And then what did you say? You broke up a little bit, and I kind of missed it.
Farewell.
All right.
And I said, "You fool!"
I thought that was Thomas. I'm like, oh dang, I died.
No, that was not me. All right. So you go. It now cuts back to, yep, that's how I got here, and then time resumes, and you go plummeting off the edge of the cliff, and after a few seconds, you disappear into the red mist soundlessly, and that is the last you see of your dear friend Manawanui.
The next thing you know, he's on a wagon.
Sammy's just like, well, that just happened.
Why do you do that?
I mean, he is right. This probably is a portal to the spirit world, but I feel like we should have prepared better if we were planning to go there. Also, we should have had a reason to go.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong about that. It's a little too late now. Should we go after him?
I feel like maybe we should talk to my mom. She would know more about this. If we're going into the spirit world, we need to know more about it than we do now, and we should at least be prepared, see if we can find weapons. I mean, every story I've ever heard about the spirit world, all the rules are strange and backward, and I just don't see it ending well for us.
Well, then he's already ready, because rules said not to jump off a cliff, and he did the opposite. So he'll be fine.
I actually do agree. I think he'll be fine. I think either he'll find a way out or we can get to him, but I just don't think we should jump in after him right now.
Okay, good call.
Kind of suck losing the one person who had a bead on whatever that magic source was that linked to that
bead
to the shiny rock we have now.
You mean the tablet?
Yeah, shiny tablet rocky thing.
I mean, I can sense magical auras too.
Oh, perfect. All right.
You are now Manawanui 2.0.
Next important question. Can you cook?
Actually, yeah. I saw what he was doing, and I think I was able to figure out how he did it. Chi-Chi helped,
there we
but
go. Why do we even need Manawanui?
Wow. Wow.
Well,
I just
to
went
be
off like
fair,
a freaking cracking hero, and that's the memoriam I get.
to be fair, he was helpful in battle. I can't really do much there.
Yeah, Akalupu doesn't need help in battle. Akalupu just needs meat.
Alright, well, speaking of which, I'm pretty sure the meat you're carrying has turned. You smell pretty bad.
I don't think that's the meat.
I mean, if you're sure about that, But should we head back now, I guess?
Double time.
All right. Well, you guys make it a few hours before the adrenaline wears off, and you remember that you were already pushing it. So, do you guys want to roll again at a harder fort save, or do you want to stop for the night?
Think we camp out.
I'm going to sleeping.
All right. So you guys find a place. It's easy enough to follow your trail back. Manawanui had been leaving those magical markers as you went along, and yeah, you guys get ready to I don't know. Are you doing dinner or breakfast? Like, are you planning to eat now, or do you want to do it after you've slept? Probably after you've slept. You're pretty
Don't have
exhausted.
the energy, yeah.
Alright. So yeah, so you guys settle in and kind of just crash. Sammy actually has Chi-Chi on lookout as the best option available. Actually, I think she was sleeping while Akalupu carried her again. Because I think she failed her fort save. So never mind. She's on lookout again. And yeah, so the night passes pretty uneventfully. No weird dreams this time. Sammy doesn't actually wake anyone up in the middle of the night. So you guys wake up in the morning, and similarly, you feel much refreshed now and ready to go on. You're able to find some water nearby that is pretty fresh. You were able to get far enough away from the lava pit that the smell of sulfur was no longer an annoyance. And Akalupu, you, with great relish and salivating mightily, pull out what meat you have left, and yeah, it has turned. Sammy was correct.
Akalupu's sad. Akalupu has a little memorial and buries his meat very sadly.
What are you burying over there, Akalupu?
Don't worry about it. This is just the most important thing in my life.
Is that the meat?
I said don't worry about it.
I'm actually pretty sure I
some more
can.
meat.
I'm pretty sure I can actually cleanse that and make it edible again.
Akalupu like unburies the meat very quickly, pulls it out, and like gives it to her.
All right. So Sammy, now a level 2 character, has learned a spell. So using one. Did I not add it? Oh, I haven't. I forgot to actually learn it. Where's her spell list? Anyway, she has a spell that allows her to like remove poison and disease from food and water.
Ooh.
So she's going to use that, of course. I thought I updated her spell. Well,
I think it's called Prestidigitation.
No, that one lets you.
Different...
That one lets you like cook or move small amounts of stuff, or like a bunch of different things that it can do. But where's? Here we go. Spell list. Familiar spells. List. It is called Purify Food and Drink. So she can remove toxins and contaminants from food and drink, making them safe to consume. It doesn't prevent future contamination, decay, or spoilage, and it can do that to 1 cubic foot of liquids or of food or liquids, which is roughly 8 gallons. All right, so yes, she removes the spoilage from the meat, and she also learned Prestidigitation, and so she's also able to cook it and season it. So. Yeah, what do you need Manawanui for?
Akalupu's happy.
Alright, so yeah, so you guys are able to eat. You head back out again. You pass that the entrance to the cave where you found the tablet. You continue on your way. and you are making good time as you're already somewhat familiar with the area, and you know exactly which way to go by following the marks. So you are able to get out after what you would assume is a long day's march back to the entrance to the cave. And so, looking around, you actually don't see anyone in the cave. It seems that everyone has cleared out. So I'd assume you make your way to the entrance.
Yes. Let's
And you're
keep
like,
going.
no, we're exploring the cave again, darn it. We're going back to... We want this to become cave adventuring the game. Alright, so yeah, you guys are head back out. And it seems to be early morning. Not at all the time you would have expected. You thought it would have been, kind of later in the evening. But in fact, the sun is just rising. You can see the village is still largely in tatters, and the ground is still soaked, so it seems that the storm didn't pass that long ago. And you can see various villagers milling about, well, not milling about, but going about, picking things up and trying to rebuild the village and secure supplies and everything else. And almost as soon as you exit the cave, Akalupu, you are side tackled by a very small figure who bowls you over into the sand.
I thought you were going to say smitten with guilt.
Dun dun dun. Yeah. So you hear Paulaka, who is now just like has a hold of you and is like, I wasn't worried at all, I knew you'd make it. I'm not crying.
I'm going to like
I just had sand in my eye.
Akalupo is gonna like tackle him back and like get him into like basically like an arm bar. It's like, I know, bro.
And so then you see Loki actually comes up as well. And there is a visible look of relief on his face as he scans across you and says, thank goodness you all made it back. I had to holy crap, what?
Nothing.
He's just now realizing that nobody's realized
Yeah,
he's gone.
no one actually realized I existed.
Oh yeah, just that little detail. There is a reason that the people who have met you so far are not concerned necessarily about Manawanui. I didn't just forget about you, by the way. Yeah. Thank goodness you made it back. I almost had to physically restrain Paolaka here from going in after you after he heard that you guys had disappeared further down into the cave. He was rather worried. No, I wasn't. It was just like I was missing out. I wanted to go in the cave too, and you didn't invite me.
Paolaka's got FOMO.
And then after a few moments, he does kind of do a second take and says, "Wait, where's the pale one, Manawanui?"
Oh, nowhere?
Huh. I could have sworn I heard that he went down with you, but perhaps he's elsewhere. I'll have to ask Pele.
Never heard of him.
Alright, well, now I know you're just making things up. I am aware of your friends. And I know that you, hang together.
Well, we were going to see Pele for some help. You can come too.
Sure, I suppose. Though I don't relish seeing any more of Pele than I need to right now. I'm still on thin ice, by the way. Alright.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So you guys head over, and he's like, I think she's over by the beach there. And you guys all head in that direction. And then, with the sun slowly coming up, you see framed by the light coming off of it an odd object floating on the ocean. One you've never, well, I guess you would have seen it in person. One you haven't seen in person for quite some time, but instantly recognizable. It seems to be an outrigger canoe with a tattered sail hanging limply from the mast. And it is slowly drifting toward the beach.
Akalupa's gonna go swim out to it.
Alright, so as you guys are looking in surprise at a sight you did not expect, Manawanui, if that is your real name. But no, Abe. You don't remember much. Your memory is very hazy at this point. You can't remember if it's always been like this, or if it's the result of drinking too much seawater. You do know for certain that that storm that you were trapped in for several days, with the waves constantly crashing over the side of your ship, mixing in with the fresh water from the rain, that you certainly have drunk far more seawater than is good for you at this point. And you can feel the fever in your body burning hot despite the cool morning air. But the storm has finally passed. After days of being stuck in it, your sail was quickly torn to shreds by the powerful winds. But as you're blinking against the sun as it rises and trying to shove some semblance of sense into the fuzzy, fever-ridden mess that is your brain right now, you remember a few things. You remember falling for a long time. Then you remember being trapped. You remember everything being strange, though you can't quite remember why. In somewhere, this colorful place that seems very, very different from where you are now. You remember meeting someone, you think a man, and he told you something important. You can't quite remember what it is. Something that you had to remember. Something vital. Something about a key. And something about a monster. Then you remember something warm and hot and soft and squishy. And then being flung into the air. And then you're pretty sure these memories are more recent. The others of this strange land feel old, as if they were lived lifetimes ago, centuries even. But you remember being flung out and a beach and a boat. And you're pretty sure that's the boat you're in now.
Do you have a beard?
Yeah, so looking down at yourself, you do in fact have a rather large, scraggly beard. You look down and it's gray, as is the long locks of hair that are flung carelessly in all directions from your head. And looking down at your hands, you can see that they're wrinkly and pruned, but you don't think it's just from the seawater that you've been doused in all this time. You're pretty sure you're just old.
Wow.
Manawanui? Is that you?
So Akalupu starts running out toward the boat as it slides onto the shore, and blinking almost incomprehensibly, you see an old, wrinkled man with wild gray hair and a long beard. He seems to just be ancient and withered, skin and bones, just skin hanging off of him, and wrinkles. And he does, as he's gasping weakly, you can see he has very few teeth left. But in fact, he does bear a striking resemblance to your friend. He is completely pale and white, and he has the same pointed ears.
Hey guys, I think I found Manawanui's great grandfather.
What?
Hearing
Have you
that,
seen- what?
hearing that, Abe, that name, it's very familiar. You'd almost forgotten that, but Manawanui is very important to you. And I'll point out, if he was his grandfather, he wouldn't know Manawanui as Manawanui. So,
Oh, that's true.
just to make that clear, you would be like Cuthbert or something.
Cuthbert.
Hey, we'll find out your real name one of these days, probably.
Maybe. I mean, I think I'm gonna be dead before then, though. It's looking like it. I know that.
So Pele shows up. Obviously, there's been quite a stir, even without the old man aboard it. A boat showing up on the shore would be a surprise, and Pele sees him and forgoing any questions, it's like, don't just stand there gawping. Get him into some shelter. He's clearly sick.
Akalupu's gonna pick him up and start carrying him toward the nearest building.
All right, so there is a hut that has been largely rebuilt. So you bring her in there, and Pele shows back up with a bowl of some concoction, and she says, "Are you strong enough to drink?" And yes, you are.
Okay.
All right, here. This will help with the fever. It should bring it down. So she presses it against your lips, and you begin to drink it, and it is very bitter, but you're able to cough it down after a couple of attempts, and you do almost immediately feel the fever dissipating somewhat. And where did Manawanui's token go? It's everyone else. He actually is dead. Anyway.
Was there any like bird or anything on the boat?
Well, you took Manawanui back to the tent. Did everyone else go
Yeah,
toward the hut?
I pulled the boat ashore and then ran after them.
All right. So not that you remember, but obviously you can't check because you are not at the boat.
Okay.
But you can go to the boat.
I'm gonna stay here. I'm curious. And like, Akalupu doesn't actually think it's Manawanui.
All right. So Abe, you are looking around, and these faces do seem very familiar. You're almost certain that you know them, though you can't quite remember names. But you recognize the faces, and then you see Pipiopi has something, a stone tablet, and suddenly you remember what you had been one of the things you had been trying to recall, the key.
Key. The key. Must get the key. I start to try and like get out of bed.
Yeah.
The key. This key. You remember this key? What is it? Do you know what it's for?
So it slowly starts coming back in a jumble, but you remember meeting someone, an odd man with 4 eyes, who claimed to be the owner of the key and told you that this key would be necessary for you to be able to return to the island, and that you would never make it back without it unless the Guardian considered you no threat, and that this key would allow you to get past the Guardian.
Key. Get back.
And you think about that, and you realize perhaps the only reason you were able to return is because you were so old and weak that you didn't even register to the Guardian.
Wow. Nice one. Nice one, Guardian.
So we probably should have given you the key.
Wow. Wow. I knew it. I knew it. Now I'm an old dying man. It's all your fault.
So you're trying to think about that, and it doesn't seem like you should be that old. And you're trying to dig back in the corners of your memory, and you remember something about a curse. And,
the Benjamin Button curse.
And you're slowly able to recall that at one point you had gotten lost in a never-ending maze, and that in the very center of this maze you had met someone. You choose to assume that it's a witch, and that you have some sort of a curse that is causing you to rapidly age.
I need the key to break the curse. Question mark.
I give him the key.
So you clutch the key to your chest, and nothing happens.
Oh, dang. Do I remember anything else about this witch?
You seem to remember that the only way for you to save Manawanui is to return where you came from, and it slowly is starting to come back, and time was strange in the land that you had gone to. You're still not sure where it was or why you went there, but you remember that the way time worked was very strange, and that you are pretty sure that if you went back the way you came out and returned to where you had entered, you could find yourself before you got cursed and save yourself from this fate.
So the way I went out, the way I came in was the sea. Is that correct?
Somewhere, yes. So you remember being shot out and then a beach, remember? And so that beach, there must be another entrance to the spirit world. And if you can go in that other entrance and make your way back to where you fell in the first place, you can find yourself before you get lost in that labyrinth and cursed.
Oh, okay.
We're going on a quest.
Go back To save Manawanui. I have to save him.
You know where Manawanui is?
I think I do. He's somewhere in a giant maze. Just
Well, show
wandering
us the way, old man.
I
Shake
I'm
him.
gonna try and like get up, but like I'm gonna like collapse back down.
Yeah. And you do in fact collapse, and Pele says, "All right, that's enough questions," and shoos you out. He's going to need to get some sleep. I'll try to get some more liquids in him as soon as he wakes up. And yes, your eyes are incredibly heavy, and even without any prompting, you are starting to fall asleep from sheer exhaustion.
Pele, you don't understand. Manawanui is dead. He's dead.
Okay. So she's ushered you outside of the tent. Care to explain what you mean?
He jumped into the volcano and now he's dead.
He jumped into the volcano. How did you get to the volcano from the cave?
Isn't it connected? We just walked.
I suppose that's possible. Why would he jump into a pit of lava?
That's what we said.
He is too curious for his own good.
But then, this old man shows up out of nowhere on a boat.
Who looks
God knows where.
exactly
Who
like
looks
an
like
old
him,
Wanawanui.
and knows his name. And knows something about some kind of maze. This guy's crazy. But how would he know his name? He must be alive.
So, if he jumped into lava, he's not alive. So, did he jump into the volcano, or... I have heard stories that there is an entrance to the spirit world somewhere in those caves. One of my predecessors, the first shaman of this tribe, actually, is said to have attempted to find it and never returned. Is that what you found?
Yes, it must be.
Right,
There
and
was a chasm and red mist and sparkling gemstones, and I thought it was just the volcano, but maybe it was something different. It smelled like sulfur, and it wasn't as hot as the volcano, now that you mention it.
that does sound a lot like an entrance to the spirit realm. Manawanui, did you explain your plan, the whole going back in time to save yourself to them yet, or did you collapse before you were able to get to
I
that
think
part?
I said I must go back from where I came to come out where I went in.
All right, so they have no idea what's going on because you're being cryptic. That's what I wanted to know. Cool.
He's a babbling, rambling old man.
Yeah. It is possible if he's in the spirit realm, there's every chance that he's alive. Though it is a dangerous place. And this old man does have an uncanny appearance. Do you think it's possible that that is your friend?
No.
No. Regardless, if he
Well,
knows where Manawanui is, and you want to save him, you certainly have my blessing.
we're going on a quest.
And
we're going on a quest.
Conveniently enough, and she points to the beach, we finally have a boat.
Akalupu's going to be like rifling through the boat to see if he can find anything.
All right, so you are over at the boat. First thing that you notice that's rather odd about it, it's made of some white, smooth material. I don't know if you're smart enough to know what it is, though.
Probably not.
No, Akalupa would know, because this is up his wheelhouse. It's bone.
Ooh, yes.
And Akalupa
would
likes...
definitely recognize bone.
Yes, exactly. This entire thing is made out of an enormous bone. Now, what exactly what kind of bone it is, that I don't think Aklupu would recognize. But yeah, the whole thing is carved out of bone with various whorls and decorations carved along the side in a scrimshaw pattern. And the sail is made out of this strange material you don't recognize. It seems to be many fibers that are somehow meshed together to become a solid object. Like a woven cloth.
Hmm.
A thing
The
that
gas.
Akalupu has never seen before. PPOP, I would assume you're also coming over to the boat at this point?
Yes.
Alright, so you pretty quickly also, obviously, bone. The cloth, though, oddly enough, you actually have seen cloth before. You remember that the skeleton that you found down in the cave? It was wearing odd clothing, and some of it was made out of a very similar material.
Interesting. This guy's got weird clothes like the skeleton.
And it does tickle something in the back of your mind that your spirit animal had talked to you about at some point, either in your original meeting or perhaps one of your strange dreams that you seem to have now. Yeah. So
Is this an internal combustion engine? It's something else.
You just look in the back of the boat and there's just like a propeller and an engine, and you're just like, wait, if we pull on that Yankee crank there, the engine makes loud boom booms and we drive fast. Yeah. And it is in relatively surprisingly good condition, including the sail, which, though ripped, does seem like it could be mended even with fairly primitive tools. Also, does Sammy have the mend spell? She might. Sammy might just be like the solution to all of your problems. She does have mending. Man, sometimes it's nice having a wizard who doesn't have just, fireball.
Yeah, but
But fireball, my
fireball, exactly.
That is true. That is very true.
It's so funny because it's probably like the least useful spell.
What, fireball?
Yeah, because half the time you hit your own dudes with splash damage anyway.
That's true, but if you can get it arranged correctly, because you don't have to hit like the person you're shooting at. You can put it wherever you want. So you can
Right.
set it up to where, usually you can find a way to get some good damage out of it. But anyway,
The non-combat spells honestly are way better.
Manawanui also doesn't have fireball yet, so you don't have to worry about it. Or does he now that he's old?
Who knows?
Who knows
Could have
what
learned
he knows
all
now?
sorts of things, including me. Literally, I don't know.
Yeah. Alright, so you guys are rifling through. There's not a whole lot in the boat. You see a few different stone containers that seem to have held rations, but they're long since empty. And the whole thing is soggy with a mixture of rainwater and ocean water. But as you are poking around, you do find one thing that certainly stands out. You find a white gem that looks very familiar, kind of like the homeward stone that Manawanui found all those, days ago. And remembering the rules, PPOP, you probably are hatching a bit of a thought about how the homeward stones work.
This should lead us right to where he came from.
Exactly. It would have reattuned to the new island, most likely. You pick it up in your hand, and in fact, it does no longer point to the volcano. It is pointing off into the ocean, off to the east specifically. But you do also know that means you have 3 days before it would reattune to this island, so just keep
And that
in
means that
mind.
this man has definitely seen Manawa Nui. Because we still don't believe in time travel.
Exactly.
I mean, or he just has another homeward stone, because they said there was more than one of them that just looks the same.
So they
I have
don't.
a feeling
Yeah. So
this is the same stone.
It does look very like you look at it. It's got that one scratch on it from when Manawa Nui carelessly, tripped on a banana
Jumped into
peel,
a chasm.
and when he slipped on the banana peel and then threw it at a rock as he was falling, and it got like a little bit of a nick on it. Anyway, it does it would be quite a coincidence for this not to be the same homeward stone.
And ever since then, it just points a half a degree east to south of the actual direction.
Exactly. Now you guys are just going to be screwed. Every time you go out into the ocean, you're like, why are we lost again? Alright. So yeah, that is about all that you find in the boat.
Alright, we better wait for the old man to wake up so he can lead us on this journey. So we need to
start
prep.
gathering rations.
Yeah.
So Akalupu is heading out to start gathering rations, and you actually find that Paulaka and Loki are already kind of ahead of you when you get there. And they said, And Loki says, I heard you guys might be going on a bit of an adventure, so I figured you might need supplies. I have Paulaka here gathering things up. Paulaka turns to you and is like, this is going to be the greatest adventure ever!
Yeah.
I don't think you're coming.
Paulaka's face, immediately falls. It's like, but why not?
You're too fat. The boat's got a weight limit.
Good grief. Brutal.
I didn't think about that. My giant godlike physique would be too much for your boat to handle.
Exactly.
You're right. Only you tiny children would be able to make such a venture. And my brother, who's a child but not tiny. And that old man looked like a breeze would blow him away, so this makes a lot of sense, even if I don't want to admit it to myself.
I'm glad that we're on the same page now. See, sometimes the Dutch way of just immediate bluntness gets the job done.
Exactly. Well, I guess good luck then, bro. This is gonna be your greatest adventure. This will be truly epic. I believe in you.
You know it, bro. I'll do it for you, bro.
Alright, so,
Be with me in my stomach.
yes, the best way to remember anyone is through their stomach. That's what my mom said when Grandma died.
Good grief.
All right, so you guys are putting together your supplies and getting things together. You're storing things in. You're able to use the same stoneware containers, which are significantly of better make than what you've seen. The most complex, stone cutlery that you've really seen are the things that Loki uses for his concoctions, and the soup bowl used by the old hermit on the volcano. These seem to be very smoothly carved with even shapes, and they seal much better as well. So you use them where you can, though a lot of your supplies just need to be wrapped in leaves and shoved into coconuts and whatnot. And yeah, you guys are working on getting everything prepared, and you kind of have things piled up in a hut. And it is, though, at this point, despite being the day, you find yourselves very tired from your long hike. So you probably want to turn in early, even though it is only noon.
Meanwhile, while everyone's sleeping, I'm gonna wake up with this talking like, I must get back. I must get back. I'm gonna try and get back to my boat and push it off.
So you're doing that. Still very weak. You're feeling much better, but quite weak. And you start to try to prop yourself up and crawl toward the boat. When you see the entrance to the hut darken, and there's a slender feminine figure in the doorway. And you look up. It's one of those faces you remember, though you can't remember her name.
You look so familiar.
I suppose I should. And Sammy walks up to you. But you shouldn't be out of bed. And she kind of presses you back down.
I must get back to my ship. I must return the island.
Don't worry your little head about that. From what I've heard, it sounds like that's actually the plan, but you're in no state for that yet. You really should rest. You'll feel much better in the morning. And
time will be lost forever. I'm just gonna like kind of look off a little vacantly, like, you know, like 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll get back there in time. I think this will all turn out just fine. And so then she starts to kind of pet your head reassuringly, and you find yourself once again succumbing to exhaustion. All right, so you guys sleep through the day, and you find yourselves, and the night, and you find yourselves waking up quite early. The sun hasn't risen yet, but it is the next day. But PPOP, I think you're generally the first one to rise. You're feeling much refreshed, and part of you wants to go back to sleep and wait for the sun, but the rest of you has already slept for more than long enough and is really just not interested. So
Time to go forage to clear my head while everyone else is waking up.
all right, so you're gonna try to pick your way quietly out of the hut.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a stealth check.
Stealth check.
You know, the skill that you're definitely really bad at.
21.
Noish. All right, so you make your way over the prone figures of Akalupu and Sammy, quiet as a mouse. Speaking of mice, Chi-Chi is also there, curled up with Sammy. And you are able to make your way out. The village is looking much better. There's still a lot of it that is in shambles, but one thing that is good about your huts is that they are a very simple design. They're able to be put back up fairly quickly, so many of them have already been set up. The only activity that you see are the glow bugs lazily floating around, and the guards at the perimeters of the camp doing lookout.
I'm gonna make my way towards the trees and look for some healing mushrooms for the trip.
All right. So you're heading out into the woods, and you're looking for these mushrooms. Maybe they're ones that Sammy has discussed with you before.
Yeah, because she used the ones on me in the cave way back when I got struck by lightning.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going out when you hear a somewhat tuneless humming coming from off into the woods, in a nasally voice that you recognize almost immediately to be Loki's.
I don't hear what he's saying.
He's humming.
Oh, just the humming.
Yeah, just.
I'm gonna follow him and sneak.
All right, so you go toward it stealthily, and you can see off toward an outcropping of stone that he is down on his hands and knees, and he seems to be digging something up.
I'm gonna keep watching.
All right. So you continue to watch, and then you see after a moment he pulls out and holding up something. He goes, "Aha! There we are. You are a beaut." And it's still quite dark, so it's hard to make out, but it seems to be something with a elongated shape. And he stuffs it into his pouch and then begins digging at another spot some short distance to the side. These are going to work wonders. So, if you want to see what he's doing, you'll probably have to get a bit closer. If you'd like to roll a stealth check.
I'm gonna wait a little longer. I want to see if he makes a mistake. I'm gonna keep watching, see if he digs up something else.
All right. So he continues to dig, and he's using like a pointed stick to do it with, and he is digging at the hard ground. Well, it's stony ground, and after a minute, you hear a snapping noise, and he goes, "Ah, great! There goes another one. Blasted things!" And he kind of like starts fumbling around and pulls out another stick. And as he's doing that, he does turn, and you can see whatever he's digging at is protruding somewhat from the ground.
Okay,
And,
interesting.
Then he returns to digging at it.
Wait 1 second. I have to do one thing.
All right.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Wow.
So I'm gonna keep watching, and I'm gonna wait until he breaks the next stick, and then I'm gonna make my move and try and swoop in and pickpocket the first thing that he dug up while he's busy getting a new stick.
All right.
That's my plan.
So he does resume picking or digging, and then after a few moments, you do see him grab another one of these same objects that he's dug out of the ground and stuff it into a sack once again with a satisfied, yes, perfect. Just a couple more, and that should be plenty. And so then he moves over and begins digging once again, and sure enough, your patience does pay off, and he breaks another stick. So, if you are trying to like go up and sneakily pickpocket him, we're gonna need a stealth check first to get close.
So, 20.
Nice. And then is pickpocket still a skill? I feel like it's probably not. I bet that's just
Let me
like
look.
I bet that's an action now.
It's thievery, steal.
Perfect.
Take a small object from another creature. Page
Alrighty.
253.
Perfect. Roll a thievery check. Is that a stealth check? What is that?
There's a
Thievery.
thievery skill.
Yeah, I'm just like it has to. Oh, I see. Yes. So roll thievery. Got it.
Oh! Crit fail!
Dun dun dun. So yeah, so you're able to get right up to him, and you reach into his pouch deftly, when suddenly something snaps down on your fingers. And you let out a squeak of surprise and withdraw your hand, and you see a comically large mousetrap. No. No, you actually see a turtle, which you often see Loki hanging out with, has bitten you. And
You
so,
busted turtle.
and so he immediately turns around and says, "Ah, Timmy, you got him." Wait, PPOB, what are you doing out in the woods at this time of day?
I was robbing you, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for that meddling turtle.
Well, you know what they say about apples and trees, I suppose.
What are you doing out here? I really was going to give it back. I was just curious what was going on.
Well, you see, I'm out here picking some mushrooms. I use them to make one of my poultices. It's a rather unusual one. It has magical properties that heal you, but it's also delicious. Way better than the crap that Pele gives people. Yeah, have you tasted it? It's so bitter. No, mine is delicious and spicy, like the best barbecue sauce you've ever eaten.
What a coincidence. I was actually out here looking for mushrooms myself. Perhaps we can join forces.
That sounds like a great plan. So he produces a stick. There seems to be a good bunch right over there if you want to work on them while I keep going over here.
Sounds good. I'm gonna go forage some mushrooms. Is that an action?
Be a survival check. I don't know if it's like a specific survival action though. Because basically, like, you rolled a survival, and if you roll better than X, then you're able to, like, supply food and supplies for people from, like, the surrounding area. Let's see. Survival. I don't see it on here anymore. But pretty sure we have skills. And survival is still a thing. I'm not crazy. Yeah. Survival. Let's see. So you can sense direction, you can cover your tracks, you can track. Subsist. There it is. You can subsist in the wild by foraging for food and building shelter. Is that an action? Subsist. Anyway, go ahead and roll survival. That's what it's gonna be.
Uh-oh.
Ba, ba, ba. Alright, did you roll survival, Jason? Ah. No, internet and power outage.
Yeah.
Yikes.
That's why I said whoa about.
Alright, you're back.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try and hook up headphones as well. Right now I'm on speakerphone.
Cool. And you're in a pretty populous area. I get the feeling they'll have your power back on pretty quick.
Yeah, I think the breaker just tripped, maybe? So,
Yeah, and some teenager just shoving a fork in a socket.
I can't figure out how to get the
It was
headphones
me.
to work. I'll just keep you guys on speakerphone.
Alright, that's alright. So yeah. So you, before it cut out, or did you roll survival, or do you want me to roll that for you real quick?
Yeah, I rolled survival and I crit failed again.
Nice. So you go over and you just immediately, overconfident, shove that stick in there to pry the mushroom loose, and it snaps in half. And
It is not my day.
yeah, and Loki is just like, you've got to use more finesse than that. Here, let me show you. And he comes over and he starts being like, all right, so you really want to kind of tease it in there between the rocks. That way you can pry them loose one at a time. This soil here is very tricky. These mushrooms seem to like it, though. They always grow in these sort of rugged areas. I've never seen them growing on anything, you would expect, like a fallen log or dead plant knife or anything. And so he's like showing you how to pry these mushrooms loose, and you can see like he's just kind of going for a minute, and then after he like kind of has you doing it, he gets kind of like a weird look on his face, like regret maybe, or just like I don't know. It's hard to tell. But he loses his smile just for a second, but quickly it comes back, and he goes back to kind of his normal behavior. All right, so you spend a couple of hours out there picking mushrooms with Loki, and it's surprisingly enjoyable, considering this is Loki after all.
Yeah,
But
we're bonding.
But despite all of the pranks that he's played on you over the years, and you've noticed that he seems to single you and Pele and Sammy and like some of those people out more than the rest of the village. Like you feel like you get pranked by him way more than like Manawanui or Akalupu ever do. And in fact, on the way back, he does manage to walk you in just the right way so that you step on a stick shaped like a rake and it smacks you in the face.
I'm gonna get him back. I swear I'm gonna get him back.
All right, so everyone else, Akalupu, you were awoken later by Sammy. You generally sleep in, and so Sammy eventually wakes you up and says, "Good morning, Akalupu," or I guess very early morning. She points out the sun's not quite up yet, but I don't know. I really couldn't sleep anymore, and I feel like you've slept long enough.
Oof, brutal.
That's nice, Mom.
If you want to stay here, I guess we can find you later, but if we're going to be getting out of here soon, we really do need to finish our preparations.
Akalupu find more food.
All right. Also, that old man, he seems to be very insistent. And yeah, old man, you are standing silently in the doorway, staring at them. And
Not creepy at all.
yeah, and you woke up feeling significantly better. You're still old. Your poor old bones hurt. Everything aches. But the fever seems to have broken, and you have much more energy. You were given more water and some food. And at this point, though your memory is still quite hazy, you feel your resolve has redoubled, and you insisted that you be let out of the hut, and immediately went and found first of those familiar faces, the one that came in and had put you back to sleep the night before, and just had then spent the next half hour just insisting, "Are we leaving now? Are we leaving now? We've got to go. You said we were gonna go."
Oh, what are we doing? I thought we were leaving. Let's go.
It's fine, I'll leave without you.
Basically.
And so eventually you did break her down, and she agreed to awaken Akalupu.
Are we ready to go? Let's be gone. Time is going away.
Akalupu will slowly kind of get up. He's still definitely not all there. And is just going to the food hut.
Alright.
Is this about the time I'm walking back
Pretty close.
from the woods?
Very close. So yeah, so he's headed to the hut. Akalupa, you are intercepted by Palawaka. He's like, "Don't even worry about it, bro. I totally loaded everything on your ship already. You are like so well stocked. You might actually have too much and need to take some of it off to not sink." And at this point, PPOP, yes, you are coming back.
Ah, the big man's awake. How's it going, Sleeping Beauty?
Akalupu needs bananas. He's like not even sure. He's just trying to find some food. He's like so not awake.
Yeah. All
Hmm.
right. So Sammy's
I'm
like,
trying to think if I could find some sort of like smelling meats for him to wake up.
"You mean like some of the barbecue sauce that you and Loki were just making?"
Oh yeah, I have some of that with me. I dip my pinky finger in it and I hold it under Akalupu's nose.
That is dangerous if you want to keep that pinky. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm quicker than him. I'm confident.
That is true.
Akalupu definitely tries to bite it.
Gotta be quicker than that. I just start running around in a circle.
Akalupu's like definitely chasing him.
Yeah, at this point, your blood, you got your heart rate elevated from a little bit of running. You're starting to wake up now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I give in. I'll give you some. We gotta save some for the trip, though. This is magic barbecue sauce.
Akalupu likes barbecue.
All right, so you guys are kind of head out. You're getting the last of the supplies have already been loaded into the boat. Sammy suggests that you enjoy a hearty meal before leaving, and so I'm sure you all do. Akalupu tries to steal as much of your barbecue sauce as he can.
Yes.
So, PPOP, let's say that you have 3 potions of Cure Light Wounds.
3 potions.
And you may want to hide those, otherwise they are going to be eaten. On steak.
On the meat.
I said 3x Cure Light Wounds. Tasty.
Tasty.
Exactly. All right, so yeah, you guys eat, and you're heading out. As you head to the boat, you see that the village elders, Bob Ross and Loki and Pele and many of the other villagers are all there, and so Pele says, "This is an important day. It is coming rather sooner than I would have expected, but." You are doing a rite of passage that has been important to our tribe for many, many years, and I was afraid it was going to stop with, and she gestures to Pipiopi and Akalupu, when your siblings took the last of our boats and never returned. But I told everyone those 3 nights ago that you had been marked by the Great Tree for or no, it would have been more than that, because you had to make the return journey. I'll say 6. Those 6 nights ago, that you had been marked by the Great Tree as great heroes. And this is the beginning of your legends, I am sure. And before you go, there are a few things that we would like to give you. And beyond, of course, the supplies. And you see your boat. There's literally no room for you inside of it. It's all meat. And Paulak is just standing there doing a double thumbs up and grinning.
Bakalupu approves.
Like, if you were to push your boat out right now, it would sink. He went that overboard. But, it's Paulak.
You know what that means? We need to eat this food today.
Exactly. But no, Sammy actually kind of goes over to him and is like, "You gotta get rid of some." Starts talking to him, and she seems to be able to convince him. You see him looking rather disappointing, but starting to load some of it off. And so we wish to give you a few things that may prove very helpful on your adventures. And so Bob Ross goes up to Akalupu and hands over to him a sturdy wooden club with painted symbols across the whole thing. And he says, "I know this probably doesn't look too much different from the other sticks that you have, but trust me, this one hits quite a bit harder than those others that you carry around. And this one is a +1 club. It has a +1 to hit and a +1 to damage."
Ooh.
And then Pele goes up to Sammy, and she hands over a small folded object, and she whispers something to Sammy that none of you are able to hear. But Sammy just nods seriously and puts it in her bag. And then Elvis, who you probably don't remember, I forget if we had even named him at that point, but Pipiopi, your dad, comes up.
Elvis.
And he says, "Well, good luck out there, boyo." And he hands you another obsidian knife. So you now have a pair.
Ooh.
And this knife is similar to the other. It has it's much less likely to break. But otherwise it's just an obsidian knife, so no extra like damage or anything. But it has the same thing where, unlike wood, which has a 25% chance of breaking on hit, it only has a 15% chance of breaking.
What chance is it of breaking? I want to write this down.
15% chance of breaking on a hit. It won't break on a critical success. It won't break on a miss, and it will always break on a critical fail. And then wooden weapons are a 25% chance of breaking on a hit. Unless you throw it. If you throw it and you miss, then it still has a chance of breaking. But like, assuming you're trying to just smack someone with it, if you miss, it won't break.
Right. Thank you, Father. I will make sure to vanquish many foes at the hands of this knife.
Yeah, you go get him, boy. And then yeah, people kind of break
They
off.
won't even know what hit them.
Exactly. That's what your high stealth is
Literally.
for. All those sneak attacks. But yeah, so at that point, people kind of break off. Several of them are actually going and helping to unload the unnecessary supplies from your boat. Mono Anui, I imagine you are very anxiously like trying to hurry people along, old man style.
Must be off. Must go.
All right. And then as people are splitting up a little bit, PPOP Loki actually kind of like pulls you aside a little bit from everywhere else, and he says, "I actually have something else for you. Here." And he hands you a conch shell, which when you have access to your character sheet again, this is a Triton's conch.
Hmm.
And
Triton's conch.
yes, let me tell you what it can do real quick. Because originally, obviously, I would have been like, it's a Triton's conch, and then you would have added it, and you would have seen yourself. But right now, that's not an option, so let me pull it up. Nope, that's not how you spell Triton. Alright.
Triton.
Correct. So a Triton's conch. This is a large opalescent conch shell. If you put it up to your ear, you hear the sound of the roaring sea crashing against the shore. You can activate it, which is a single action. And the effect is that you can raise the conch to your lips to blow into it, letting out a long, rumbling note. For the next minute, you and all allies within 30 feet of you, when you activate the conch, within 30 feet of you, when you activated the conch, gain a +2 item bonus to athletics checks to swim and can breathe underwater.
Activate all allies. Get +2 swim.
Yes. And can breathe underwater.
And breathe underwater. Hell yeah.
But yes, I suspect this may come in handy for you.
Canterlantis, here we come.
Canterlantis.
Right. And well, I'm sure I'll see you again, but I don't know. In case don't, I feel like I should just. And he like tries to gather his thoughts. Like, I'm not good at the whole people thing, but just know I only tease the people I like the most. Okay?
Thanks, Loki. I think all this time I knew it in my heart.
All right. Well,
the broken fingers.
you get out there.
I will. Keep on pranking.
Oh, I don't know any other way. I don't think I could stop if I wanted. All right. So, with the boat finally being in a seaworthy state. Sammy had patched up the sail with her magic, and with Mano Anui very insistently ushering everyone on board. You guys set off into the ocean. And do we want to wrap it up here, or do we want to decide on roles on the boat before we pick up next time?
Ooh, let's pick our roles.
All right. So we will need quartermaster, navigator, and captain are the main ones. So quartermaster is going to be in charge of keeping track of supplies, making sure that you have enough, making sure that they are cared for and aren't, like dumped overboard or allowed to spoil. The navigator is going to be in charge of both navigating and keeping maps. So the way that we're going to handle it is we're going to, I can actually show you. Let's move you all over to the map. Ta-da!
Oh, blue.
I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm
All right,
the map.
so
I'm
that
not gonna lie,
is
I have this.
yeah, this here is Homestead Isle or Outset Isle? Yeah, Outset Isle, where you currently are. And you guys are actually going to be in charge of maintaining this map and placing new islands that you discover in the correct places. I will be keeping track of a separate map that is the reality of the situation. And so if you guys are blown off course or the navigator gets something wrong or whatever, you could end up with your map being incorrect. But the navigator will be in charge of this map and navigating between islands, because this is going to be, now that the adventure is starting proper, this is going to be a fairly large aspect, is traveling to different islands and navigating, and all that stuff is going to be starting up finally. 10 session and however many months later. And then the captain is going to be in charge of operations on the boat. And essentially just double checking everyone's work, doing the actual steering, that sort of stuff.
Well, I would like to say that I don't think Akalupu should be the quartermaster.
Yeah, I think Sammy should be the quartermaster. Kind of sounds like a good role.
Oh, and a diary keeper. All right, so the roles are leader, mapper, quartermaster, and diary keeper. So there are actually 4 roles.
Can Akalupu write?
So at this point, it's more of just lore. You don't actually write it down. Nobody can in your group. It's just you're basically the storyteller. Do you
I
do you
think
guys
I'll
want to
try being the navigator.
All right.
That sounds like fun.
And then
I think
Anna will be
since-
drawing pictures of the islands, so she'll be giving them to me so that I can stick them on the map, and then you'll be able to move them. In fact, I think, did I set it up correctly to where you could move Outset Island even? Yeah, you can. If you want to be very lost, go ahead and drag Outset Island out from where it is currently.
Well, I still am not on the computer. I'm just on Discord. So.
I think as the most experienced seaman here, I should be the captain.
And this is primarily your mission.
This is true. We're going to go find Manawanui.
So I vote the old man as captain.
Akalupa's fine with that. So Akalupu's in charge of telling stories. Akalupu can do that.
You're the morale leader of the trip.
And that leaves Sammy as the quartermaster?
Yeah, and she can keep all the meat fresh.
That is true. Alright, so we will go forward with that, and then obviously we can't adjust it if we need to. So let me just write that down real quick, which I should have been doing the whole time, but then I realized it a little bit late, so. Alright. So Jason, you are navigator. And you've got a pretty good survival skill, so that'll help.
And I also have my assurance mapped to survival, so if we ever need like a guaranteed check, I can hit that.
Yeah. And then Anna's the storyteller, Abe is the leader, and Sammy is the quartermaster. Sweet. Alrighty, and normally we would also be doing a thing where we would collectively build the island, kind of like we did for Outset Island all that time ago. But because this island is like already, well, actually we do kind of need to go through that. Do people have time to go through that real fast?
I'm game.
Alright, map. Here we go. Island creation. Let's make a new island. Alright, so what is the name of this island? I guess we should come back to
Guantanamo
that.
Bay.
Yeah, we should come back to the name of the island. So, are there sentient inhabitants of this island? And if so, roughly how many?
I don't know.
Yeah,
It
hundreds
seems, well,
of
'cause this,
spirit creatures.
yeah, I was gonna say. I think it should only be like monsters and things. Things that come from like the.
So, they can be monsters. So, like, yeah, this could be like an island full of goblins.
Or it could be like a.
But we would get to that in like the threats section, most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
so
as far as
there
like
will
normal
also be
life,
some benevolent spirit guides.
all right, spirit guides. And then what, like a handful of them?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Who, if anyone, rules the island?
Nobody. It's
I
a
was gonna say, I don't
lawless
think
land.
anybody.
All right. So, what is the terrain like? In this case, it's extremely rocky. It's kind of like the Giant's Causeway with those weird, like, angular rock formations.
I like it.
Notable features. You know, maybe the entrance to the spirit world.
I was gonna say a gaping maw at the edge of the island that's just like that's water and things like that into an underground area.
Okay, so a huge hole. So like is it making like a whirlpool, or is it just kind of like pouring into it?
It's just like yeah, slurring in.
Okay.
Like the sacrifice pit in the road to El Dorado.
Yes,
That's what
exactly.
I was like, Tushel Balba?
Exactly, and that's what you're gonna say when you push Monowanui back in. And you're like, well, good luck saving yourself again. Have fun down there.
Wow.
All right. Any other notable features on this island? Yeah, is there
Puppies.
puppies? All right. Well, that would be
Demon puppies.
Would that be under notable features, or would that be under goods and resources?
I think it depends on how many puppies we're talking about.
All right, we'll put it in notable features.
Like it's just like I feel like it's like there's like puppies literally everywhere.
All right, so puppies, a huge hole with the ocean pouring in. Anything else? Are there any like ancient temples or mysterious caves or?
I think it should be noted that when I say puppies, I mean puppies. The magic emanating from the spirit entrance keeps all of the dogs in a puppy state for their entire life.
All right. So they
I
stay
think there
young.
should be a massive structure at the edge of the island.
All right. Near the gaping hole.
Yes.
All right.
Everyone loves an obelisk.
Exactly. You just come up and it just does the screaming monolith music from 2027 or whatever that is. I know that's not the right name, but whatever. Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
All right. So, what special / rare / uncommon goods or resources can be found at this island? Well, puppies.
Puppies.
For one.
Eternally young puppies, if they stay on the island.
Let me think. How's like big old like iron deposits that you can just like see like just how like
Okay.
you have those giant red areas because there's so much iron. That's kind of what I like.
All right. Visible iron deposits. Akalupu is just like puppies, food. We won't get hungry on this island. They're too small and slow while they're young and adorable for them to get away from my hungry mouth.
Oh
Don't
no!
say that. There's a puppy listening to you right now. A real live puppy.
All right. Any other goods or resources?
I don't know.
Puppy chow.
Puppy chow.
Puppy chow.
That's true. These puppies are eating something. Or maybe they aren't. Maybe that's also part of the magic.
They're just.
I think there's magic puppy chow plants that just grow puppy.
Puppy chow plants. All right. So sights, sounds, and smells. Notable sensory impressions of that the island would make. Puppies.
Little yips.
Yeah, they have a distinct smell.
Puppy smell.
I'm thinking like a sort of like a northern Atlantic looking like island, like something you'd see like in Scotland.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the type of island I'm picking. So big craggy rocks.
Yeah, cold and rocky, craggy.
Yeah. Sea foam.
Sea foam. Barking.
Little pup.
All right. And threats. Are there any particularly notable threats that affect the island? For example, pirates or land sharks?
I feel like malevolent spirits.
Maybe that's what the spirit guides are actually there for. They want to trap you in eternity on the island with those puppies. Like
Are
the
they really bad
cuteness.
then?
Well, the
No,
puppies
no, no,
aren't.
no.
But
They
maybe-
turn you into puppies.
Oh.
All of these
Ah.
puppies are the people who have been stuck here.
The gas.
Malevolent spirits. want
Weird
to
monster
make
spirit
you
hybrids.
a puppy.
I'm not gonna
So
lie.
like half the
Forever.
spirits are good guys and half the spirits are bad guys.
Yeah, and you have to try and figure out which is which. You know, they're not like color coded red and blue or anything.
Right.
Or are they?
Don't worry about
But twist, the red ones are the good ones.
it.
Alright,
Ooh.
so malevolent spirits, and if you eat the food, you turn into a puppy.
I like it.
Basically.
Like
Akalupa's
in
not gonna make
Spirited
it.
Away, I just watched that.
Akalupa would be the.
I'm
Oh.
not gonna lie. Being a puppy does not sound like the worst, end in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty good fate.
Alright, well, now, as usual with these, like, co-GM things, you have the spoiler. You know not to eat the food, but your characters don't, so keep that in mind.
Right.
Alrighty, that is our island. So now we get to name it. Is it Paw Print Island? Is it shaped like a paw print?
Pupper Island.
Pupper's Ghost?
Pupper's Ghost.
It
Oh,
looks
Oh,
like a
we should
good
call
dog
it-
pun.
Papaya Island, and it should also have papayas on it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's papaya.
Yeah.
Paul.
I was thinking papaya.
Oh, that'd be good too. I like that one better.
So like Puppaya, papaya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apostrophe papaya.
Apostrophe. All right. Getting all fancy.
Yeah, that actually like fits. I like it.
It does actually. All right. Papaya Island now exists and is where you are headed. So that wraps us all up. Next time, we wrap up with you guys sailing off toward the rising sun. Actually, no. Yeah, you are, because it's east. And it seems to be pointing somewhere generally in that direction. Ish. Yeah, that direction-ish. Or that direction-ish. Who knows? Anyway.
Somewhere.
Vaguely east. At this point is kind of the most you can tell. And yeah, you guys are just arguing about who gets to be what, and we will pick up next time with you all in your roles. So let's wrap up like we always do. And what did PPOP learn?
PvP learned that sometimes people pick on you because they love you.
Yeah, exactly. What about Akalupu?
Akalupu learned that he doesn't need Mano Anui, and Sammy can do all of the things that are important to him.
Yeah, that's legit. And what about old man Mano Anui?
Old man Manawanui. He learned a lifetime of things, and that people are slow, even though he's the old man.
Yeah, you're like, I'm pretty sure I'm 3,000 years old and I'm faster than you, young whippersnappers. Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you had a great time. I know I did, and I will see you all in the next game.